We just spent 7 days in Albuquerque for Balloon Fiesta.
And today we're gonna cover all of the highlights and including the lowlights.
I don't know if I want to see another balloon. I'm so tired at this point.
And tell you guys, overall, if we think it's worth it and any sort of tips that we would have if you guys decide to go to Balloon Fiesta.
Good morning, Albuquerque. How beautiful of a place is this? And I'll have to zoom in, but right behind me, we can see all of the balloons from Balloon Fiesta this morning. It is so gorgeous here, guys. So this week, we are gonna be taking you through Balloon Fiesta, how we were able to get reservations, how we're boondocking 15 minutes outside of the event itself, and stay tuned to the end, so we'll tell you guys our final tips and if we would do it all over again.
Now, this spot that we have been staying in for the past 3 nights has been ridiculously cool. We got to Albuquerque a few days before our reservation at Balloon Fiesta started, so we wanted to find some BLM land, some free place to park, so that we could hang out in the area and be close whenever our reservations start. Little did we know we were gonna get within 15 minutes and actually be able to see balloons outside of our window in the morning. So every morning that we've gotten up here, there's been like a mass balloon launch at 7 a.m. and it's been so cool to see right outside of our window in a place that's free. And so this has been a great intro to Balloon Fiesta. How we went about finding this spot is that we use an app called Outly. We have more information in our last video on how we found it, but basically it's an app where you can see all BLM land, you can see boundaries of national forest and free places you can stay. So we just literally were driving and we found a pull off. We just double checked on the app and it says it is public land. And so we've been parking here for the past 3 days. Tomorrow, we're heading into the actual craziness and gonna start our reservation inside of the park and see what it's like from the inside. Okay, so what is Balloon Fiesta and why did we go? Balloon Fiesta is this huge festival. People come from all over the country, even internationally, a bunch of different countries. About 1 million people showed up to this event. It's super crazy. They have a bunch of RV sites, people come in cars, all to come around this hot air ballooning event.
We decided to go because my parents, they actually have an RV and they travel the country as well. They do not full time, but they like to do some trips here and there. So we thought it was a good idea for us to meet up. So my parents, my brother and his girlfriend, we all met up and we were lucky enough to snag 3 nights, both of us. So 2 RVs for 3 nights at Balloon Fiesta. So let's get into how you're able to book a reservation at Balloon Fiesta because it is not an easy thing to do.
So Balloon Fiesta takes place in October, which is when it is right now. But for booking a site for it, we actually had to book all the way back in January.
Yeah, so pretty much the booking, I believe it opened up at like 9 a.m. Eastern time on like a Monday or something. So we literally had to like block off our calendars for work so that way we could both log in so we could book for us and my parents. And so we went to hit the booking link, nothing happened, kept refreshing the page. So we were freaking out and then we started Googling, what's happening. And then we come to find a bunch of people are posting on social media saying, what the heck is wrong with the booking link? I'm not able to get anything. So clearly their system crashed. But we went on Twitter. We could not remember the guy that we found on Twitter. He was some sort of like Balloon Fiesta influencer.
Yeah,
but
all I did was search like Balloon Fiesta in the X search bar, and there was just a bunch of people posting, and then we found this one guy that had some insight.
Yeah, so he seemed like an insider from Balloon Fiesta, and he said, hey, no, there's a crash, use this link to book. So we used that link probably at around like 9, 10 a.m. So like 10 minutes after the booking window, we found that link, and then we used that to put in our reservation. So I would say tip for sure, if you're trying to book, I would highly recommend following Balloon Fiesta on Twitter/X. Hopefully this isn't an issue going forward, but it was a pretty big issue because so many people are just waiting for this reservation window to open. But even when we did book, it just said, congrats, you made a waiting list. So it didn't seem that they sent anybody reservation confirmations immediately. Pretty much they wait for everyone to submit their request, and then from there they decide chronologically who gets to be in what site.
I think it was just like filling out a Google form or something, and you just fill out your preferences of what different sites you like, and then it took a while for them to reach back out to actually get a reservation.
Yeah, so we did that back in January, and it wasn't until, I believe, early July that we got an email back saying, hey, congrats, you're getting a site at Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah, it was far enough that I definitely
We
didn't
forgot.
think I didn't think we were going for sure. Like I had forgotten that we did the reservation request, but yeah, then they just reached out.
So hopefully 2025, they might get their stuff together. It might look totally different, but just good to have a heads up of what you might encounter should you decide to book a site.
Okay, so let's go over now what it's actually like to camp in an RV at Balloon Fiesta. If you're in an RV, you have 6 different choices of 6 different lots that are all around the festival, ranging from $50 to $250 per night. Some of them have hookups for electric and sewage and stuff like that. Some of them don't. Most of them actually don't. And pretty much when we booked, we just said, hey, we're fine with any lot, because literally we just wanted to get in the festival. It didn't really matter for us. We ended up staying at the VIP North lot.
What up, guys? So we got my parents that we finally met up with. It is Thursday, so we are headed towards Balloon Fiesta for our official reservations. In all of this craziness, we were still able to find a free dump and fill. So shout out to Speedway. They've been so good. We dumped and filled at one that also had free fresh water. So super easy process, because all the reservations at Balloon Fiesta are dry camping. Because once you enter Balloon Fiesta with your rig, you cannot leave with your rig. Of course, you have a toad, whatever, you can totally take that out, but your RV, once it's parked, you cannot leave until checkout time. All right.
Got some stuff going on.
There's VIP North, they better turn. And they clarify that this is rally style parking?
Rally style. Meaning like Daytona?
Oh, rally style. Pigskin in the parking lot. All right, the Wrens gotta unhook their toad. What, you like it? Having a good time? They are rocking a ton in the A-Class on these roads. So, as we start this check-in process here, we're still waiting to kind of talk to somebody official for the check-in process, but they said that they recommend you get here between 12 and 3 because it can get pretty crazy. It seems like we're here pretty early. I mean,
we got here probably 12:15.
Yeah, we got here really close to 12, and this is still kind of taking a while. It seems like a really inefficient setup. Definitely try to come early if you can.
As long as we get a spot, I'm cool with it. Form 2 lines.
Interesting. Okay, so we had to walk up to check in. We got a little baggie, so this needs to be displayed the entire time in your RV. This green pass is displayed for your toad. These are your tickets to get in. They said treat them like cash, because if you lose them, you're out. The dump and fill is way more expensive than we thought. So it's $40 if you want them to fill your water. It's $40 for them to dump. So it's $80 to dump and fill. So seriously, dump and fill before you get here, because you will be disappointed. So they give you a little stress chili that maybe Lila would like. Cool. Now we're just waiting for somebody to navigate us to where we'll be parking, and we'll show you guys the site once we get there.
Yeah, the VIP North lot came in at $115 a night, so definitely by no means is it a cheap stay, because it's $115 a night for dry camping and what they consider rally style. So first come, first serve. Whenever you pull up, they're just gonna park you in whatever site's available. But that being said, we are in a dirt lot, packed in like sardines, absolutely no hookups. But VIP, even though it's called VIP, it's not the most expensive one. There's even a President's compound level, and that's $250 a night. So definitely on the expensive side, but something to note is that our tickets did include 2 general admission tickets to the festival, which in person, I think they sold for 20 bucks a day. So a value of roughly $40. That's including the RV site. One, you're super close, you're walking distance, so that's great. But also you get the tickets, which is very nice to have included. All right, as in terms of what you're actually doing at Balloon Fiesta. So for one, the experience was incredible. I totally felt like a little kid walking amongst all these balloons. Literally the first night that we were there, I was like, this is so cool. We checked in at probably around noon, so we missed all the morning activities. So the first thing we did was at night, and I think that was like the special shapes Glodio. So it was all these crazy looking balloons, like you have like Darth Vader, like Tasmanian Devil, Yoda, Smokey the Bear, all just lit up at night. They're on the ground, they don't take off at night, and you get to see all these shapes and walk amongst them. That was super, super cool. And then the next morning, you can see them take off.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a different crowd in the morning and the night, because I really did like the special shapes. It was cool to see just like all the people's custom balloons.
Yeah, so in terms of events that I would recommend would definitely be the special shapes at night. In the morning, they do a dawn patrol, which I really thought was super cool. You have to get up early.
Yeah, you got to get up really
early. We
early.
are literally 5 minutes to the field and we still got up at 5 a.m. But really events, balloon-wise, happen from like 5:30 a.m. to
just about 8
a.m. Yeah. And then at nighttime, it's probably a 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So they're actually really small windows, super early morning and kind of evening for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of time in the middle of the day to do things.
Definitely a huge gap in between actual balloon events.
And the one thing that I feel I wouldn't recommend that's on the schedule a ton that I don't even consider an event is their chainsaw carving exhibition. It's literally just a booth of, I mean, chainsaw carving is super cool, don't get me wrong, but they act like it's like this actual event, but it's just a booth selling stuff that's wood carved by chainsaws.
The other event that they would have that I would definitely recommend as a cool thing to do is the drone show. So at the end of every night, after they do the special walkarounds and you can look at the balloons, they do a drone show and then they do a fireworks show after.
Yeah, my brother, he's seen a few drone shows and he was just like, this will forever ruin any other drone show that you attend.
Now I'm kind of afraid, I'm afraid to go to another one.
The drone show was so next level. Like literally, if we went to this festival and we only saw this drone show, I would be happy. So now to get into really like what we would recommend, what would we do differently next time?
This is the good stuff.
Yes, this is what you're here for. So I would say, for one, I would absolutely do Balloon Fiesta again. I wasn't sure if this was gonna be like a bucket list type item. I only need to do it once. I don't really need to come back. But no, I would definitely come back because this was such a fun event. But in terms of would I do everything exactly the same? Probably not. Maybe it depends if my parents are involved in the next time. But yeah, you know, in the beginning of this event, we were in Albuquerque for 7 days, and I believe 3 of those nights we were boondocking. And so we'll definitely post the coordinates down in the comment section below. We boondocked probably about 15 minutes north of Balloon Fiesta. Not a soul around, just the view of the mountains. We could hear coyotes howling in the middle of the night, which was so cool. And we could still wake up to the view of balloons. Yes, they were at a distance that in a camera, they really don't come out the best in the view, but from the naked eye, it was such a cool experience to have that personally, I mean, we really enjoy nature and boondocking to where when we pulled up to the campground itself of where we were gonna be for Balloon Fiesta, it was definitely disappointing, you know, to see how tightly packed everyone is. For one, I would say that I think that I would prefer to boondock more of this event, enjoy the balloons from a distance. I'm happy that we had the experience of being there at the event, but it definitely wasn't necessary to be there for 3 nights, I would say.
Yeah, it was cool. I think if I was to recommend if you should stay, I think 2 nights would probably be a good amount. Being there for 3 full days, it honestly did get pretty tiring. Just the amount of crowds. I mean, so many people. And it got to the point that the last night we were like, maybe we should just watch from our RV because we don't really want to go walk through all these crowds of people. We got really lucky when we were there that the winds were down all the days and the balloons all took off. But last year we heard that it was super windy and they didn't take off a lot of balloons. So if you go for 1 night, it might not be the best day and you might not get to see them take off. So that's why I would build in maybe a 2-night buffer.
You don't need to stay at the park to experience Balloon Fiesta. There's so many campgrounds if you want to do a private campground with hookups, but if you're cool with boondocking too, like we are, you know, I would say that's really my recommendation here is, you know, find a nice private spot in nature because seeing those balloons with the mountains and just no one else around, that is such a beautiful experience to where being at the park and there's kids with their little like Minecraft swords and out of funnel cakes.
There's a
I'm
lot
just
of
like,
weird
come
stuff
on,
going
man.
on.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on there. So overall, I mean, such a cool experience, but I do think that there's, you know, just kind of depends, you know, what sort of traveler you are, what you prefer. But personally for us, we would prefer to just avoid the crowds in general. All right, guys, so in short, absolutely, we would do this again, just with some fine tweaks. So if you guys have any questions, drop those down in the comments below. We're happy to, you know, give you guys any sort of insight. If you're like, what does water cost? It's $40. What does it dump? It's $40.
That was insane.
So definitely, if you go, you want to make sure your tanks are full, you dump, because you do not want to pay that. $80 for dump and fill, insane. But yes, let us know what questions you have. We're happy to be a resource, and let us know if there's anything that we missed, because this was our first time. So we had an awesome time, but we're always open to feedback and hearing what you guys have experienced as well. So thank you so much. If you stuck around to the end, we truly appreciate you guys. Until the next time, you guys have a good one.
Yeah.